Hi everyone, I'm Jane Trotter and welcome to Accelerando Piano. In this tutorial, I'm going to show you a neat little trick for how to practice keeping a steady beat. So why do we need to keep a steady beat in music? Well, if we don't, our piece will sound like rubbish. But in all seriousness though, the beat is our bedrock. It's our musical foundation upon which everything else is built. It needs to be regular, so there's a sense of continuity and flow, and it makes sense to the listener. Take my speech, for example. I've just been talking along in my usual manner. I haven't suddenly sped up and talked really, really fast for no apparent reason. And on the flip side, I haven't started to get slower and slower and make you all very sleepy. Hear how disconcerting that is? It's the same for music. The second really important reason for why we need to be able to keep a steady beat is we might be playing with other people. You could be playing a duet, for example, or accompanying a singer. You could be in a band or an orchestra. Everybody's beat needs to be the same. So you're playing what you're supposed to, when you're supposed to. Everybody's in time, everybody stays together. There's no prize for the orchestral musician who finishes first ahead of everyone else. In fact, all they're likely to receive are withering looks from their fellow musicians, and they get a right telling off from the conductor as well. So, those are our reasons for why it's important to be able to keep a steady beat. Let's dive in to our practical exercises. Okay, here's the plan. I'm going to play an excerpt from a piece of music along with a metronome. It's going to have a really good, strong, steady beat. What I'd like you to do is to tap along with that beat, really feeling the pulse, keeping it very steady. Then I'm going to do something a bit sneaky and a bit nasty. I'm going to turn the volume right down so you won't hear any music at all. But you're going to keep tapping that beat, keeping it regular, very solid. And then I'm going to turn the volume back up, and when you hear the music again, your beat should be exactly in time with mine. So it's a good exercise to see if you can keep a regular internal pulse going. So let's try that. Alrighty, how'd you go? Hopefully you managed to keep your beat beautifully in time and you fitted in seamlessly when I turned the music back up. But don't worry if you didn't. What's really common is for people to get faster doing that exercise. So if that happened to you, don't worry, you're not alone. Okay, we're going to try it again. Same trick. You're going to tap along with the beat, and I turn the volume down and turn it up again later. But I'm going to make it a little bit harder this time. I've chosen a piece with a much slower tempo. So you're going to have to count really carefully and really try not to get faster through this one. Okay, now for your third trick, or my third trick. I'm going to be really mean and horrible to you. I'm sorry, but it just has to be done, so I apologize in advance. Well, I don't really. I'm going to enjoy it. Haha. All right, here we go. Same deal. I'm going to start with a piece. I'm going to turn the volume down, then put it up again later. But the difference is that when the volume's down, I'm going to introduce another piece at the same time. Different tempo, different time signature. You've got to try and keep your original pulse going from the first piece that I started with, right? And all of this other stuff is going on and assaulting your ears, and you've got to keep that pulse super steady against everything else that you hear. So, I've built that up, haven't I? Let's try that. I know what you're thinking. You're thinking, oh, why does she have to pick Mission Impossible? Of all the pieces she could choose, why did she have to pick Mission Impossible? Talk about major distraction. And you may or may not have noticed, Mission Impossible is in 5/4 and a regular time signature. So I was making that deliberately super difficult for you. If you managed to keep your beat amongst all of that other stuff that was going on, I'm impressed. Thumbs up, gold star. If you didn't, don't panic. I made that really hard. And you can always rewind and try it again. So there we have it. That's an exercise you can try to help keep your beat really, really steady. For things you can do at home, I would start out with trying a piece that you know really, really well. So when you turn the volume down, you'll have kind of an instinctive feel for it. You'll know how it's going, and you'll have a good sense of that pulse with that piece. That would be the first thing to try. Second thing, maybe go for a piece that you don't know as well, but is kind of familiar, like you've heard it before, and do the same thing. Volume down, try keeping that pulse really steady. You could also try something in a different time signature. So, for example, you could try something in 3/4 rather than 4/4 or 2/4. Just another little challenge. Then, at the end, you could pick a piece that you've never heard before. Don't know it at all. Start playing it, get a feel for the beat, tap along, click your fingers if you want to, turn the volume down and try it through. And then when you turn it up, having practiced those easier sort of exercises first, hopefully you'll find that you've kept your beat really steady. And of course, if you are a real sucker for punishment, you can do what we did at the end and try your wits against another piece and try to keep your beat steady from the first piece and being distracted by the other one, and see how you go with that. So they're fun little exercises, they're useful little exercises, because the foundation of our music is keeping that beat really, really solid. Okay? So good luck with those and have fun.